94 Rocks, Jay-Z here, and you can see I've got Josh, the lead singer from the band Catch Your Breath. And Josh, first of all, I'm excited to talk about you. I got a lot to get to, and I know we don't have a lot of time. So, first of all, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Up here, it's golf day for me. A little chilly. You're down in Oklahoma. What's the weather like down there?
Overcast, but it's nice outside. It's like 62 degrees. I can't complain.
So you'll be wearing shorts if you golf, and I'm wearing pants when I golf today.
I never wear shorts ever,
You
ever.
don't.
My legs are too white for that. I can't do that.
It's crazy because you see some artists they're wearing almost nothing on stage, and then other artists are wearing a lot of stuff on stage. So you're one that wears more clothing than non-clothing.
Yeah, but I haven't I haven't upgraded to like wearing leather on stage like motionless all the time. It doesn't have you noticed like it doesn't matter what they're playing, where they are, how much pyro they have. They're all always in their leather jackets. They look great, but God, it's got to be hot. Like it's got to suck.
I remember about 10 years ago, I went to a Motley Crue concert and they had all the pyrotechnic thing. And I was probably at least, you know, 100 to 200 feet away. And I could feel that. And so when you say that, yeah, those guys got to be just hot on stage.
Yeah, we did pyro for our first time at the last festival we played. I think it was like Louder Than Life is what
Yeah.
it was. And we got pyro for the first time. And I remember I showed up like 15 minutes before we were supposed to go on stage. Long story.
Yeah.
Anyways, I showed up and our stage manager walked up to me and he was like, "Hey, do you see that green tape right there?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "If you pass that tape, you'll die." And then he just walked away and I was like, "Okay." I knew we had pyro, but I didn't know anything else. And the second that the pyro went off, I was like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Like, if you pass a certain line, the heat just coming off of the flames will burn you. It's really hot.
It was funny. I was just going to ask you that question about the tape and that because I always see that when you're looking down on the stage. I was recently at the Bad Omens show, obviously, so they've got to stay in certain areas too. But I was wondering about that. So that's how that all works, huh?
Yeah, do not pass whatever the color tape is that they use. I'm sure it's not green all the time, but if they're like, don't pass that tape, you take that seriously because
Well,
you'll burn your eyebrows off.
you'd think they'd have it universal though for you guys, because otherwise, like, hey, what's the red tape mean? What's the green tape mean? What's the orange tape mean? Or what the yellow tape, whatever, right?
I don't know. I've only done it once. I'll come back in the year and I'll let you know if it changes colors or not.
Oh, hey, let's talk about your band to catch your breath. I think, I'm not like a prediction guy, but been pretty good on a lot of different bands. I think you're a band that is going to blow up here. You maybe already have started to blow up some of the music that you have, but let's go back to the beginning of this band. How did this all come about? Where's your passion for music in that?
Like from like childhood on.
Sure, wherever you want to take us.
For me, I've kind of always been like one foot in music my entire life. I've always had like bands, like even when I was like really young, and I only listened to like Eminem and stuff like that. Like I was even in like a little R&B like rap group, and so I've always like wanted to be in music. It was only in like high school when I was like, yeah, I think this is what I want to do with my life. I went to college for a little while. It didn't really work out. Dropped out of college and just 100% pursued music. I met the band through a mutual friend who is now our producer called Curtis Martin, who also grew up in Oklahoma at the rival school of mine. Actually had a band with some of the people that went to my school. I went and watched his band all the time at this place called Fusion Effect up in Shawnee, Oklahoma's little skate park that used to throw shows. That got shut down because the roof started caving in. But he met up with me when I was bartending. I was like 23 or 24. I don't know. I'm old now. But we linked up. We recorded our song Frontline, and the band heard it. We held on to it for a little bit to like make a music video and stuff, and then just like dropped the demo as like our first single ever released. And that's how we linked up. Or I linked up with Teddy, and then Teddy knew O'Neill. Through the years, we went through a bunch of members. We found O'Neill to come play drums for us, and then our first manager found Keenan, our bass player, and we just decided to stick as a four piece because we think we work really well as just the four of us.
Influences growing up. You mentioned kind of the some of the mentioned a little bit there, Eminem and that, but what kind of gravitated you over maybe to the active rock side or the metal
So I
side even?
always I grew up with like a huge love for rap. I was a younger brother of a 4-year old older sister,
Okay.
and she listened to like a lot of rap and R&B at the time. This was like the late 90s, early 2000s when like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC and all that. So like pop has a big place in my heart. And then the older I got and started to explore music on my own, I found like Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit and Korn and Disturbed. And I, I just really liked the aggressiveness of rock. Uh, but I also really liked rap. So new metal was kind of like what got me into rock. And then like Nickelback came out and started like just writing smash hits, and that's where my love of like rock and roll came from was like Nickelback. And then the emo phase came through when I was a teenager. I started listening to like Taking Back Sunday and Fall Out Boy and all that. And then for whatever reason, I discovered death metal. And I, at the time, I guess it started off as like, oh, I know the heaviest band because that was like the cool thing when you were emo. If you knew the heaviest, most underground, most disgusting bands, you were the cool guy. So that got me into like death metal, and then I got into deathcore, and I actually enjoyed deathcore. I'm a big Whitechapel fan. I grew up a Carnifex fan, Rose Funeral. I got into metal that way, and then it was weird because I went from like the heaviest metal, and then I discovered like I don't want to say that band's name, but I discovered metalcore, one of the big metalcore bands. But one of their members got in trouble for some bad stuff, and went to prison for a while.
Okay.
Um,
No
I got
names.
into that band, and then like metalcore became like the big love of my life, like August Burns Red and stuff like that.
Right.
Hardcore was a big thing for me. And I don't know. I just started learning how to scream. I started getting into like screamo emo bands, and I just developed from there. But yeah, like those are a lot of my favorite. I know I'm a long-winded person. I'm so
No,
sorry.
that's good. That makes it easier for me on this end. And people want to hear you, they don't want to hear me. So that we want to know more about Josh. That's the
I,
cool thing about these interviews.
my inspiration comes from a lot of places. Like on the second album, there were like country songs that inspired me to write songs. That's never happened before. But I went into this really open-minded, but also I felt like we were more we knew what we wanted more, if that makes sense. Like the first album, I don't, you probably hear this a lot from young bands. Like your first album, you just throw things against the wall and you're like, maybe people will like this or like this. I like all of these things. What are the fans going to like the most?
Mhm.
And I think we finally like honed in on a sound, but this album is definitely more aggressive than the first one. It's a different vibing completely. And I think like you're hearing that with the singles that are coming out.
Right, right. I want to dive into those in just a moment, but you said the deathcore, the metal side of things. Rock radio was not really friendly to any of that stuff. But in the last 10 years, I've been in the business for over 35 years. Seems like in the last 10 years here, and maybe even after the pandemic has happened, we've seen a big changeover on the at least the metal side that it's being more, I guess, accepted on rock radio. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think we have like bands like Slipknot and Breaking Benjamin, uh like bands along that line, like even 30 Seconds to Mars, bands that kind of brought screaming to the radio and made it a normal thing. Because at first, if you remember, like people used to turn the radio off when Ben would scream in a Breaking Benjamin song, but it was on the radio.
Mhm.
Like Diary of Jane was one of the biggest songs to ever be made ever. So I think we owe it to like bands like that, and then just the kids from that generation getting older, and now we're we're like the everyday radio listeners going to work and stuff, and we don't mind hearing like screaming on the radio anymore. Like our parents probably hate it, but if you're not making music that's pissing off your parents, you're not doing something cool, probably.
Right, right. And I don't know if you or wanted to be a rock radio band either, because there's a lot of bands that like I don't give a rat's ass if I'm on the radio or not. But I guess what does radio mean to your band to catch your breath?
We've always wanted to reach as many people as we can because we're trying to share a story, we're trying to create a community, we're trying to make people feel like they're not alone in their problems, especially like a lot of what I talk about and a lot of what I write about, because people always like comment like, "Oh, who hurt you?" A lot of what I talk about is like my early 20s or like my mid to late 20s. A lot of the time, like my past, a lot is what I write about,
Mhm.
and that was the hardest time of my life to get through things because I was so confused on what who I should be. Should I be what my parents tell me to be? Should I be what society says I should be? Or should I just be happy and do what I want to do? And I figured out through that it's kind of a little bit of everything, right? You have to care about the people that love you and you have to take into consideration what they want. You have to be a productive member of society, but you have to also have to make yourself happy. So if any of those things get in the way of any of the other things, that's what you have to remove from your life. So through the writing songs, through creating community, that's what I want to do. So I want to reach as many people as I possibly can that connect to my music, and I can't do that unless they hear me.
Right. Well, that's awesome. That's great words to follow.
Mm.
Definitely, indeed, and we should do that. And it's great to hear that whatever you had in back of your life, you've kind of overcome that, and now you're writing about it and you're singing about it, which is really cool because that's the creativity of music, isn't it?
Yeah, music is an outlet. Everything is an outlet. What if you're doing what you love, it's always a form of expression, I think. So
So I first found about you guys back in January 2023 when Dial Tone came out, and actually that became your first top 30 hit on rock radio. I guess what did that moment mean when you got on the radio and you got into the top 30, I guess?
I didn't know what it meant at the time. Like it was cool and I thought I knew what it meant, but the way the industry moves, it's kind of slow sometimes. So like all the accolades and everything come later.
Right.
Um, but at the time I was just happy to be there, dude. I was just happy that people were saying my band's name and knew who we were. And it took a while for things to happen for me, and everyone around me just kept screaming like, "Dude, you have no idea what this means." And I was just like, "I don't know. I just want to play shows."
Right. And that's the cool thing. I mean, and did that open a lot of doors for you? That song or for the and that album, Shame on Me, did it start to really open the door for Catch Your Breath and for more of these projects that we're seeing now today?
I mean, if I'm being honest, it probably opened every door that we've ever gotten opened for us. I was told once that it only takes being right once. You only have to be right once, and then your life changes. And that ended up being really true.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And then, of course, moving on to some of the stuff that we're spinning lately here, a song called Dark that is trying to crack the top 30. It's just about there's knocking on the door, and not sure if it's going to get that extra push it needs, but tell us about that song a little bit.
So we initially went to the studio before we were scheduled to do the album because it had been so long since we released a song. We really wanted to get something out for the fans. And we wrote three songs. Two of them I can't talk about because they're album songs still, but Dark was one of the three.
Okay.
And it was honestly kind of the one that we were like, well, this kind of really sounds like the first album. So it would be a good bridge song. So whatever. We didn't expect Dark to kind of have a little blow up like it has. Um, we just released it because we knew the fans wanted something. They'd been waiting forever. We're online all the time talking to the fans, and they were just been begging for stuff. So we knew we had to get in the studio and write something. and Dark was like the song that we were just okay with releasing. The other two, we were like, nah, we got to save these as singles. So
Okay. So I know you've been mentioning the album, and is there anything that we can talk about this upcoming album? Can we talk about a release date? Can we talk about what the name is going to be? Obviously, we can't talk about some of the songs on there, but what information, Josh, can you give our listeners today?
so I can't give you the release date yet. I can't give you the name yet. However, I do think I can say there are four more singles to be released
Okay.
until the album releases.
Okay.
Um, I think the four that we have left to release are the four best songs on the album.
Okay.
Um,
Good to know.
to be released, my personal favorite is actually an album track. So
Okay.
I'm excited to see the feedback on that, but also there's a lot more music to come. I think there's one or two more music videos to be
Okay.
released, and I think that's all I can tell you right now. But it'll be soon-ish.
Okay. Will the album drop before the end of 2026? Can we say
Yes.
that or not?
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So there will be an album sometime dropping in 2026. We know there's going to be four more tracks coming out, at least on that album prior to that. So yeah, that gives us a lot of information, gives us a good nugget there. I think that
Yeah, I
works
wanted to give
out.
you guys as much as I could without
Yeah,
maybe getting in trouble.
yeah, there's all those contractual things you got to do now, right? As you start to go up the ladder, and you probably noticed that a little bit. Has that hampered at all your creativity? I guess because sometimes, it's great to get somebody on board with you, but sometimes then it also gives you like, well, you can only do this much now. You can't do like you used to.
I would say the only thing that's ever hampered my creativity has been production wise live, and it's money because my God, have you seen how expensive some of this thing? Dude, I want the 300-foot video wall. How much is it for one of those? Did you say $750,000? Never mind. Like,
You're gonna have to start a GoFundMe page just so you can have what you want, right?
dude, it's insane. It's insane. But as far as like anything else, like writing songs or artwork, anything like that, like no, it's literally just the astronomical prices of like pyro, video walls, lights. It's insane. So I and this year we've really been trying to work on our live show and make it
Mhm.
cooler. So you guys have seen us with pyro. We've brought out lights now. We're trying to add to our show. Just we're trying to add to our show without adding $100,000 in production cost.
So let me ask you, as a band like you, kind of an up and coming band, you don't have all the resources yet. Hopefully, one day you will. So, what are the things that you do to try to get some of those resources, make money? Are there some creative things that you're trying to do on that, at least to get more money so you can have these great shows?
Just we just try to be online a lot, really. Our management does a great job of making sure that we continue to step up while thinking about production cost because that's like one of the biggest costs, minus taxes on your tour. Um, but they've been doing a great job, dude, and we kind of have put a lot of that in our management's hands. But as far as us, like personally, we're doing fine,
Okay.
and we like to be online a lot, anyways, and that ends up being nice. You obviously have your residual payments from royalties and stuff like that, so
Right, right.
it's okay.
I didn't get a chance to see you when you're here in Minneapolis because the night before I went to the Bad Omen show and I just couldn't get to your show the next day. I get with nothing more. But how was that tour? I guess this year did start out 2026.
The Nothing More tour was insanely good. It was actually our highest grossing tour to date. It was great. Um, the fans, man, the crowd surfing, the singing. Some of the best memories I've had on any tour was on tour with Nothing More. the guys from the Europe tour, the guys in Encore and Solens were so great. We got to meet Nothing More on that tour. They
Mhm.
were amazing to us, really humble dudes, so nice. We got to hang out with them pretty much every day, all day. It was very welcoming. Uh, and then in America, our friends and Archers joined up with us on that tour. Obviously, we know them, and we got to meet Doobie.
Mhm.
Doobie is awesome, by the
Mhm.
way. If you haven't had Doobie on, if you know of Doobie,
I know Doobie. We played
those
Doobie here. Yep.
yeah, he is so sick. I love Doobie so much. Became a good friend after that tour. And then once again, Nothing More was nothing but humble and accommodating and such great people. And like I said, the shows were incredible, very high energy.
Oh, yeah.
I met my girlfriend in Montreal on that tour. So,
Awesome.
I had a really great time, man. Montreal is a beautiful place.
Yeah. And I heard you're becoming a hockey fan now, and a Montreal Canadian fan, huh?
Yeah, I was there for a Montreal Canadiens game versus Tampa Bay. It was game three, and the Montreal Canadiens won at home, and it was berserk in Montreal. It was absolutely crazy. It was so fun. I think I was dizzy the next 2 days after that because saying you're not taking a shoot ski with someone after
Oh,
the Canadians win and they're buying rounds, that it's offensive.
it's
So
offensive. Okay. Good to
yeah,
know.
and
Good.
they really like Jamie up there. So just be
Ah,
ready if you're there.
I don't think the Canadians have won a Stanley Cup, and it's been like almost 30 years. I think it's like, I want to say 95 or 93 or something like that.
You know, I'm an Oklahoma State fan.
Okay.
I'm a big
OSU. Yep.
football fan, and here's what I've learned from being a losing team fan.
Well, don't tell us about that in Minnesota. We've been losers for years. So,
Sometimes it's not about winning the championship, man. It's about having fun during the playoffs and going to the game and the excitement of making it to the big game, right?
right.
The having a good time, the eating good food, the drinking good beer, and yelling at your TV with your best friends. That's the fun of the game. Sure, if you lose, it kind of deflates you at the end of the night, but you still had a great time. You
Yeah.
always want to win,
I hear
but
you.
that's why I love sports. It's just fun. It's exciting. It's just a good time.
That's awesome. I know we got to get going here pretty soon, but a couple more things. Touring wise, I know you've got a couple things coming up, at least festival wise, here
Mhm.
in May. And then after that, do we have anything that we can announce yet, or you got some stuff in the works?
So we're doing Rockville, we're doing Sonic Temple, then we got Australia, Japan, Europe,
Yep.
and after that, I've talked to management about it. It's seeming kind of gray right now. We really want to do another headliner during the fall, but also we can't oversaturate the market or whatever they say. So
So
whatever
there you
that
go.
means.
Once again, management kind of constricting just a tinge. I know, I know. I get it. I get
Look,
it.
they're all old men with beards and suits. What do I know?
That's why you got to write music. You write some music about them then at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure a few people have done that before, huh?
No, there's a few songs on the album too.
There's probably a few. Hey, let's talk about this new song that you're doing a collab
Mhm.
with Cami Kehoe. First of all, I love Cami Kehoe. I'm looking forward to seeing her at Rockfest this summer in Cadott, Wisconsin. But talk about the song. It's called Jen Inside. We are spinning it already here on 94 Rocks. Give us a little, I guess, sample of what that was all like.
So that song, Cammy came in, and we wanted to do a song together. And I'll tell you something about Cammy Keo is she is a phenomenal writer. She's very fast. This girl, prodigy. She's amazing. I was impressed by everything that she did. Um, and we wanted to write a song just about the current state of things, just everywhere. And we wanted to kind of to open up our voice about what we thought about everything that was going on in the world and kind of tell everyone to chill out and maybe stop blaming everyone else for the problems and look in the mirror. So I don't want to go too far on that because you can take that for what you want either
Right.
way. So I'll leave it there.
So this brings up a question I've been asking for about over a year.
Hmm.
artificial intelligence, AI, in the music. I mean, we don't got all day, but boy, I mean, you just mentioned that with Jen Inside thing and Cammy Keo. So yeah, he's stretching out here, getting ready to give his big answer.
You
So,
know,
what is
I
your
know
AI
I,
take?
I can't I can't curse
Well, you
on
can if
public
you want.
broadcast,
It's
but
you're fine. You can curse if
dude,
you want.
fuck AI. I hate AI so much. And I'm trying every AI video that I see that's music, I always put that it's AI in the comments, but there's so many people and it's concerning because so many people are like, so the song is good. Okay, that's a horrible argument though because you're not seeing the bigger picture here. There are less people that can work Uber because there's AI driving our cars. Artificial intelligence is taking the job of telemarketing. It's moving in further and further and further and further, and eventually, if you let it into art, I don't think there's really an excuse to not let it in everywhere else. And then what are we supposed to do? Are we going to no longer work jobs and then come to our government for government subsidizing and completely rely on the government to give us housing, electricity, water, food, transportation? Um, when you start doing things like that, then things can start being turned off for punishment or whatever. That's when I don't know. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I don't think that AI has any room in art. I think it could be used to enhance things, but people have the tendency to be lazy, right?
Right, I agree on that.
And people have the tendency to think, well, if it's only me doing it and no one else does it, it's not going to be a problem. Well, when 6 billion people think that way, uh, the world changes, right? So you have
Right.
to kind of take a hard stance against it. And I think that's where it is, where like I understand where Johnny is coming from, where you can use it as a tool,
Mhm.
right, to enhance things.
Mhm.
I intrinsically do not trust people to just use it that way. I don't even trust a lot of artists to not use AI to write songs now,
Yeah,
just because it's available.
yeah.
And that's kind of my stance on it, I
Well,
guess.
I'm concerned too because there've been some songs on at least on the countryside that will become number one on their charts or whatever because of an AI produced. So all of a sudden you're taking away a spot from somebody that's like yourself. That all of a sudden it's like you're creative, but somebody else can like me. Jay-Z can have a number one song on active rock, and I
Yeah.
should not be in the music industry when it comes to writing music.
Well, I mean, if people want to listen to AI, like if people just absolutely are like, no, I hard stand, I want to listen to AI, there should be another category
I agree.
for AI, and I don't think that there should be a revenue stream for it.
Okay.
There should be zero revenue stream to it. If you want to put a ton of money into like AI graphics and build up this whole AI thing just to be cool, and then maybe get famous off of your Instagram account or your TikTok or something like that, and you show people how you make your songs, that's one thing. See, because you're not making money off the music, you're making money off of being a influencer at that point.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah. I know
But
I talked to one artist and they said they're gonna have to categorize as organic music and then AI music is almost how it's gonna
yeah,
have to be. Kind of like you go to the grocery store.
well, but then the other problem turns into when there's a ton of AI music and people are now going and listening to the AI music because
Right,
it's artificially made, it's perfect in every way.
right,
Um, then that's literally taking streams away from the real artists.
right.
So I guess my stance would be like you shouldn't be allowed to upload any kind of AI music to any kind of distributor whatsoever. If you want to show people on your phone and like send it person to person or something like that, then that's cool. But if we're not gonna give them revenue, then stop letting them upload it to a distributor with like app or like Pandora, Spotify, YouTube.
Very cool. Well, thanks for your comments about AI. Much appreciated that. So I got to ask you, Josh, what's one of the most memorable moments in your career so far?
Jeez. Um, Probably playing Red Rocks.
Ah, I still
On
want to go there sometime. Yeah.
Brother, it was wild to see the amount of people that like the Beatles played Red Rocks, dude. Like
Mhm.
I I still don't really like believe that I played Red Rocks because it was like a fever dream, you know? Like I remember we were sitting in the green room and Aaron from Under Oath like slams open our green room door and he stares at us and we're all kind of in shock from him slamming open our door and he just goes, Red Rocks, woo! We were like, yeah, dude, we have no
Yeah.
idea what this place is. And that's when he's like, you don't know what this place is, and then told us to go walk around and like look at everything. And that's when we kind of figured out like, oh, this place is legendary. We went out, we saw the stage. Holy crap, man. It was
Yeah.
insane. We did that tour in an F-350 van.
You learn a lot about your bandmates, don't you?
Man, we were packed in for like sardines, dude. We took out all the back seats and we put down like a foam pad, which no one told us this was a horrible idea, by the way. We put down a foam pad and we like slept sideways, like side by side. And the floor was so hot from the engine that it was like you could not sleep. It was unsleepable.
Are you have you graduated up to now the bigger buses, or where are we at on that now?
Yeah, so after Blue Ridge, our F-350 van broke down. We
Okay.
blew the head gasket, like the engine seized. It was
Yep.
done,
Yep.
and we bought a C-5500 like shuttle bus thing,
Yep.
and
Yep. Yep. Yep.
we ripped out everything and put bunks in it and stuff, and that's what we tore in now.
Okay. So you're working your way up to the big bus eventually.
God, I hope so.
And then you're going to be flying your own airplane, kind of like Bruce Dickinson does from Iron
Oh,
Maiden, right?
please, that would be amazing.
Josh, I know we got to get going here. I've got so many other questions, so we're going to have to catch up some other time. I think we've got plenty of things we can talk about. I think we're going to be talking about your band a lot. Catch your breath. Any final things you want to say? And for more people that want information about your band, how can they get a hold of that?
Guys, you can catch us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're we're always streamable on Spotify, Pandora, every major music streaming platform. We have a new album coming out this year, guys. Be looking for more singles. Um, the album will be dropping later this year. We're going on tour in Australia, Japan, and Europe. So I don't know if you would be, maybe iHeartRadio. I don't know. If you hear this from one of those places, we'll be in your neck of the woods. Look at buying a ticket, and we'll see you guys later this year. We love you.
Awesome. Josh, good luck to you, and looking forward to chatting with you soon and seeing you in person sometime. Sound good?
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
That's Josh. That's Catch Your Breath. I'm Jay Z on 94 Rocks.